Well, hello my lovelies, it's Murky Meg here. It's Saturday the 10th of September, and as the new sovereign monarch Charles III is proclaimed this morning, he becomes our next head of state. He was officially announced monarch before William, who is now the Prince of Wales, and Queen Consort Camilla signed his proclamation as our new king. The Accession Council initially met without the king to announce the death of the Queen. Then Charles III made a personal declaration about the Queen's death before signing his oaths. Today is what's known as D-Day 1, Saturday, September 10th. At 11 p.m, the Principal Proclamation is read from the balcony of St. James's Palace. It's happening right now as we speak. This basically is the old-fashioned way of proclaiming a new monarch. The mayors of the towns and the cities would ring their bells and proclaim the new king or queen. That's what is going to be happening around the country today and tomorrow. The mayors will be proclaiming our new king. I have to say that it was very moving watching Charles be proclaimed in front of Prince of Wales, Prince William, and the Queen Consort Camilla. If you haven't already seen it, I recommend everybody goes and watches King Charles's speech from yesterday. It was a poignant moment, and one that I hope not only touched most of England's hearts, but the world as well. It was so heartfelt. I personally didn't watch it live. I couldn't, but I listened to it on the radio. It almost felt like I was transported back to when Queen Elizabeth II would have done the same speech about her father. It was quite fitting, actually. And then I rewatched it when I got home. I watched it so I could see Charles's expressions, his mannerisms. And he was very dignified, very thoughtful. And it actually completely changed my opinion of him. He showed a touching side to him that I've never seen before. And it was a beautiful, heartwarming speech. So what happens now? Well, at 12 o'clock, the proclamations will be read at the Royal Exchange in London by the London Mayor, Sadiq Khan, and then that will trickle throughout the country in towns and cities, should they so wish. Then King Charles will hold an audience with our Prime Minister, Liz Truss, and her cabinet. There is now a period of mourning for the members of the royal family and the royal households, and it will be observed until 7 days after the Queen's funeral, which hasn't yet been announced, but suggestions are that it will take place possibly on Monday the 19th of September. And hopefully they are expected to announce that the funeral day will be a public holiday in the form of a day of national mourning. Tomorrow, which is D-Day 2, Sunday, September the 11th, which of course in itself is a very, very important day. We all know what happened on September the 11th, 2001. So for me, it's especially poignant. But tomorrow, the Queen's coffin is expected to be taken by road to the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh. Now please excuse my previous video. I thought that she would be going straight to St Giles's Cathedral in Edinburgh, but that's not the case. She will lay in rest in Holyrood House in Edinburgh. And proclamations will be held in the Scottish, Welsh and Northern Ireland Parliaments, which is in Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast. D-Day 3, which is on Monday, the 12th of September. This is when the procession of the Queen is expected along the Royal Mile to St Giles's Cathedral, and there will be a service and a vigil of the princess by members of the royal family. Now it is expected that Operation Spring Tide will begin on D-Day 3. Now Charles just can't sit on his laurels. He has to visit all countries of the United Kingdom. King Charles will begin a tour of the UK, which will start with a visit to Westminster Hall in the Houses of Parliament, and his next stop will be Edinburgh to visit the Scottish Parliament, followed by a memorial at St Giles Cathedral. On day 4, D-Day 4, he will then fly to Northern Ireland, where members of the devolved Parliament will be giving another motion of condolence, this time at Hillsborough Castle, the residence of the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland and the official residence of the monarch while in Northern Ireland. He will then attend a service at St Anne's Cathedral in Belfast. He will do the same while he's in Scotland and in Wales. On D-Day 4, which is Tuesday, September the 13th, the late Queen's coffin is expected to be flown to London where it will lay in rest at Buckingham Palace. I was a little disappointed in this because when the news originally came out about the days that will follow, it actually said that she will be transported from Edinburgh to London on the train. Now, I live very close to the tracks where that train would have come past, and I was going to stand there and pay my tribute. I wish I could go down to Windsor or Buckingham Palace or Sandringham, but unfortunately my health just isn't good enough at the moment. So I will be placing tributes in my city at the cathedral, and I will keep you updated on that. The same day, a rehearsal for the procession of the coffin from Buckingham Palace to the Palace of Westminster takes place. Then we go to D-Day +5, Wednesday, September the 14th. The Queen's lying in state is expected to begin in Westminster Hall, Operation Marquee, following a ceremonial procession through London. It will last 4 full days. This is where the people of Britain and around the world, should you wish, will file past the coffin and pay their respects, just as they did for the Queen Mother when she passed away in 2002. Although things will be slightly different then because of the presence of COVID, so there might be timed ticketing for those who want to attend. Also during this day, senior royals are expected to pay their own moving tributes, standing guard at some stage around the Queen's coffin. The tradition is known as the Vigil of the Princes, just as that will be happening while the Queen lays to rest while she's in Edinburgh. D-Day +6, which is Thursday the 15th of September. The lying of state continues and rehearsal is likely to take place for the state funeral procession. And this continues on D-Day 7, 8 and 9, which brings us to D-Day 10, which is the 10th day of mourning. And this is the day that is expected to be the Queen's state funeral. The original plans are for the Queen's coffin to then process on a gun carriage to the Abbey, pulled by naval rating sailors using the ropes rather than horses. This is where senior members of the family are expected to follow behind the coffin. This will take place from Buckingham Palace all the way through to Westminster Abbey. Now, clearly the service will be televised and a national 2-minute silence is expected to be held. The Queen's final resting place will be in the King George VI Memorial Chapel and annexed to the main chapel where her mother and father were buried, along with the ashes of her sister, Princess Margaret. Philip's coffin will be moved from the royal vault to the Memorial Chapel to join the Queen's. So finally, they will be able to rest together in peace. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.